What's up, Nappy? How you doing today?
I'm good, man. Welcome to the FPV Enthusiast Podcast. How are you
Yeah,
doing, Hypnos?
doing good. Excited to get into this episode too. It's been a while, hasn't
Yeah, we couldn't even remember what we were going to talk about next. Well, we're
it?
here. We got it down now.
All right, all right. Looking forward to it. So, what's on the agenda for today?
We're going to talk about what inspires us and then what finding new spots and getting burnout on our old spots.
That sounds good. I like it. So, I guess feel free to lead us off here. So, what inspires you?
Man, I sometimes watching other people's videos inspire me. And then I think people that which I'm not I don't know how to say this not sound mean like people that I don't think are better than me when I see them getting closer to being as good as me, that kind of inspires me, like not in like a bad way. I'm not
Sort
saying
of like a competitive type thing.
yeah, like when I see somebody that I've been flying longer or just feel like I'm better, like in my opinion. And then I see them like doing stuff. I'm like, man, I need to step my game up. But then I don't think that you see your progression as much as other people see your progression really. But like obviously like seeing people better than me, like I strive to want to do stuff they do also. Um, I don't know. That's like I don't know, especially like if you go to a spot and you see somebody like seeing going to spots where other people have flown at, like when I went to Austin inspired spot, like like I don't know, that's inspiring because he's done crazy stuff there. Or like seeing somebody go to the stilts and hitting stuff, and you're like, I didn't even think about that. And then I don't know, like flying spots other people flown at is definitely inspiring just because they how they see stuff differently.
Yeah, yeah. I can definitely see what you mean there with that. I find myself just kind of getting stuck in a spot doing the same things over and over again. And then I'm like, this feels boring. But then I'll see someone else fly it, and I'm like, wait, why did I never think of that? That's like so obvious now that I've seen you do that. So yeah, I can see that as being a huge like inspiration, which is why I think it's awesome to have other pilots that you can fly with because that inspiration kind of is a way to fuel, creativity.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like it's just crazy how like other people see stuff that you don't even think about. Especially like for an example, Flexo like flew at this one spot all the time. And like I challenged him to hit this tree gap and he's like, I've never even thought about trying that. And like that was like the first thing I saw in his video. He's like, hey, you need to hit this gap.
That's awesome. And I see you mentioned Flexo there, so I imagine that he's a form of inspiration. Are there any other pilots that you particularly think is like a big inspiration for you to help you kind of strive to improve?
Well, Austin inspired, definitely. He's been flying like half as long as me, and he's 5 times better than me. And we fly, I mean, not a lot of the same spots, but I've been to a lot of the spots he's been to. Um, I don't know, man. Definitely local people inspire me just because it's cool to see them fly somewhere like Dano FPV, um, like I'll see him fly at like the Bando City and he'll hit something. Like even you and like I shouldn't say even you, but like you inspire me because see like local people, man, it's like just seeing them fly my spots that I fly at and do different stuff that I do, but do it differently just makes you think and inspire you to like try to hit tricks.
Yeah, definitely. For me, I view myself as kind of like the bottom tier of like our local pilots because unfortunately, I have a full-time job and uh, two young kids. So my fly time, my stick time is really not what I would like it to be because of other responsibilities. So I feel like my improvement is kind of stagnant. So I look at like pretty much everyone I fly with like, okay, I need to pay attention to what they're doing so that way I can find a means of improvement since I don't get that amount of stick time.
I mean, um, you shouldn't say bottom tier. I mean, you're definitely, you fly good, dude. You do crazy stuff. Like, I think you think of yourself, and this, I mean, me too. People like will tell me like how much I progressed and stuff like that, and you just don't see it, man. Like, I don't know, your progression in your own eyes isn't as good because, like, especially, I don't know, man. Like, I'll go hit a spot and think I killed it, and then go to like post a video and I'll watch it back and I'll be like, man, it wasn't that good. Like, I don't even know if I want to post it, but then I'll post it. And other people's like, oh, you killed it. That was so crazy. Like in your own eyes, I think you just don't see it. It's like you're not as good as you like in your head, you're not as good as what you really are.
Yeah, and I can see that too, and that's kind of a curse or a blessing for me in some ways because my career is analytical by nature, working in finance. So I'm very bad about over analyzing everything that I do to the point where if it's not perfection, I'm like, I'm just bad.
I mean, I don't think you're bad, so that's good if you want to take that for what it is.
But I will
Yeah,
say, like, thinking of myself like a year ago, which is why I kind of created my YouTube as I started into FPV, is because I go back and I'll watch just a random video from a year, maybe longer ago, and when I'm watching myself fly, I'm like, man, I was bad. Like, what was I doing? And then like see something now, and I'm like, I feel like I have gotten quite a bit better. So that was kind of my reasoning for starting a YouTube, and that's I actually do that fairly frequently. Go back and like analyze and compare what I'm doing now versus what I was doing then, and then I'm curious to see like a year from now going back and watching the stuff I'm doing now, and if I'm gonna be thinking the same way. Like, man, what was I thinking?
well, I mean, you think you're bottom tier, like, I mean, well, I don't know what you consider me, but I mean, you beat me at racing at the Air Force Museum. I actually have that shirt on.
Nice,
And
nice.
like you hit crazy, like did you do crazy Matties with whoops like in your house? Like I can't even fly in my house in angle not angle mode and what's it called?
Acro.
Yeah, like I can't even fly in my house in acro. Like I suck. So if you
With
want,
all the Matty flips, that's you mentioned Austin Spired. That was another one for me, because we informally dubbed him the Matty King. He's
yeah.
amazing at doing Matties, and I jokingly was like, man, I'm gonna have to dethrone him. I'm gonna have to become the Matty King. And I said that during whoop season, like wintertime, so a lot of indoor flying. And I just started doing Matty flips with my tiny whoops like crazy.
Yeah, like it took me years to do Matty and he did one like 2 months into flying. He's like, well, it's not that hard. I'm like, yeah, well, I've like probably spent thousands of dollars trying to learn how to Matty flip.
I do struggle with a 5 inch quad trying to get a solid Matty. I'm really not as smooth for some reason as I am with the whoops, which I feel like the whoops will be kind of harder, but I don't know. I guess I just figured that out. So
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't tried too many Matties with whoops. I have though, like, um, but I definitely can't do them inside. Like, I can't even fly down my hallway. Like, I just, I mean, I can, but then like, there's nowhere for me to go, and it's like, I suck at turning around. Like, if I have a straight line, I can fly in my house in acro, but I mean, I don't know, man. I definitely don't have that. So if I'm definitely bottom tier of that. I'm not even on a tier. I'm on the
um,
suck tier.
but yeah, with racing, I'm definitely that was actually kind of my inspiration for moving my studio. I'm not sure if anyone has noticed the background is different now, but um, I had recently completely remodeled and finished my basement, and it's a large area, and I have a bunch of whoop gates and stuff that I've got and built over here. So in the not too distant future, I'll be like racing whoops around down here and trying to even improve more on it because I do want to actually get to a point in racing where I can actually make it past the first elimination round.
Yeah, that's my goal too, but I never practice, so I can't get mad because I don't practice enough. You can't get good at something if you don't keep practicing, that's for sure. Well, I guess some people can, but I can't. I'm
Yeah,
not that
I'm not
talented.
able to. I need to pack after pack, which is actually a struggle. That is a struggle for me racing actually, because you'll have a heat and then you got to let the other heats go and then you come back up, and I fly the best when I'm like pack after pack. Just kind of have to keep that momentum going. So when I have to like run and then wait for, 10-20 minutes to get back up, then I'm like not warmed up again and just feeling like it's not working out for me. So that's something I need to overcome.
So since we're talking about inspiration, do you have an inspiration for racing? Or do you like I don't really I mean I don't know like Proximo. I've seen him
Um,
he's like the first racer that I've ever like hung out with or flown with, and he's freaking crazy fast.
yeah, he's like elite tier. He's so good that I mean, he is definitely an inspiration, but I set my sights a little lower. Like for me, attending the Cincinnati quad racing scene, going to some of those races, my inspiration for that has been like um, just trying to make it past that first elimination round. So not necessarily like setting my sights on a specific pilot or anything like that. Because for me, with tiny whoop racing in general, and I'm not sure if people feel the same about like 5 inch racing or above, I'm not really seeing myself as racing against the other pilots, more so as time. Like, so I'm like fighting time, not the other people, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, because definitely with tiny whoops, you do, like it doesn't really matter if you beat somebody. Really, I mean, it is time, but I mean, I don't know. I guess it is beating people, but you do need a better time, especially because like the start gates, you might not start for like 3 seconds after somebody.
Yeah, so that's another thing too, is kind of like the staggered starts. I think your like lap doesn't start until you hit that start finish gate. I could be wrong on that. I'm not a pro racer, but so like even though someone could be slightly ahead of you, if they hit that gate before you, you could actually be like right on par with each other.
Yeah, it's when you hit the start finish gate. All right, well, I guess since we're talking about our inspiration, we'll go ahead and move on to topic two. And I guess topic two will kind of just lead into topic three. So what like finding new spots and getting burnt out on spots, that can kind of be what we're going to talk about next. Finding spots, man, like when I was new, I would just drive like everywhere I went, I was be like looking for spots. I still kind of do that. Like if I go somewhere new, I'm like, oh, that's the killer spot to fly. Or um, I don't know. You probably do about the same thing, don't you?
Yeah, the worst for me is on the rare occasion I'm a passenger in a car or something like that. I'll be looking around and be like, that could be a fun spot to fly, or So I do that when I'm driving. I don't tend to like try and scout anything, but from time to time I have like gone on to like the GPS like maps like on the satellite view and try and look around and see if I can find some places, which I believe you do that as well with some of the pictures I know you sent me in the past.
Yeah. Well, like we went to Tennessee and like over the weekend, and I was all about looking everywhere. Like I saw a giant bando from the highway, but then like we ended up seeing like my wife actually spotted this building. She's like, "Oh, what's that big building? It looks cool." And then I was like, "Can you fly? Does it look like a good place to fly?" And she was like, "I don't know," but like then we went and looked at it, and it was a good place to fly. And I ended up flying 2 packs there and ended up breaking my stuff. So I didn't get to fly the bando, but I heard the bando was has security anyway, so I don't know. But yeah, like I look everywhere, man. Like when I was new, like of course when you're new, like around town, close to your house, you definitely like you know more stuff. But then like once you get, I guess topic three, once you get burnt out on your spots, then you start looking harder. That's when you look on Google Earth and like Facebook groups too, like abandoned places, like abandoned Facebook groups, bando Facebook groups are a good place to find places.
Yeah, that's interesting. That makes sense. I never even considered that. For me, it's so hard to find the time to get out and actually go explore and find new places. So I find myself flying my house a lot because I have a half-acre yard, and then the neighbor behind me has like probably three-quarters of an acre, and we have some trees and stuff. So I fly that a lot, and there's not much to do, so I burn out on that so fast. And I find myself like wanting to go, to the stilts or Bando City and things like that, but then just finding the time and like especially Bando City is not really a place you would want to go by yourself either. So then you also have to
Yeah.
try and coordinate with other pilots or have someone come along with you.
Well, that's like kind of finding a spot and being burned out on a spot. Like this brings me to this, what I was thinking like earlier on this year. I revisited some of my original spots that I flew at a lot when I was new. And since I've gotten better, like it kind of made my old burnout spots good again, just because I could do stuff that I tried to do back when I was newer and like wasn't near as good. Now it's kind of like I see it from a different light, I guess you would say.
Yeah, I could see that being a lot of fun too, because then you kind of incorporate that nostalgic element. So you have that nostalgia, and then having more skills and stuff, being able to do more there. So yeah, I could see that being a lot of fun.
Yeah, just like thinking like when you're new, then like going to a spot like, oh, I wish I could Matty flip this, or you know what I mean, or power loop this good. Like the school I've been flying at, I flew at 1,000 times. Like I kept wanting to hit this power loop, and I hit it like once out of probably like for real. I probably tried 100 times, and I only hit it once. Now I hit it like 95% of the time I try it.
Nice.
So like going back to spots like that, that's kind of, I don't know, that makes it better. Like I don't know, there's like a few spots I used to fly at that I'm definitely burnt out on that I would probably never go back unless I was going to like test something because it's just they are extremely boring. But like the school spot and this one spot that's like doctor's office spot, I flew at like I've flown at it like a couple times lately, and it's kind of cool because I'm just better. Like you can do more stuff. But I can get to like what you're saying too about like Bando City or like that bando that we went to like in my town. Like ever since we went there and all those crackheads were there, like now I don't want to go there by myself. Like I don't want to be flying and not being able to see them pop up, which I know you're supposed to have somebody flying. You're supposed to have somebody with you anyway, but like going to spots like that, like I thought about going to that bando yesterday. And I'm like, man, last time I was there, there was 7 crackheads there, like probably chopping up something they stole. Like I've seen a gun safe, or not a gun safe, like a gun case in there before. And it was like pried open, and I'm like, so yeah, like finding new spots and going to new spots if you don't have somebody with you is kind of tough too.
Yeah, yeah, just the danger element for it. It's not even worth it at that point. If you can't fly with someone else, I would not recommend someone go into a sketchy area just to fly by yourself.
Yeah, because then you think people like you can hear noises when the goggles are down.
Yeah, yeah, and that would freak me out too.
Like
um,
if you're like somewhere like at a school or whatever, like you can like usually you're going to be close to yourself too. But like a bando, you could be flying far away and like be 3 walls behind you, and it'd take you 30 seconds to fly back to even check out your surroundings.
yeah, yeah, uh, definitely would need a visual observer there for you. In a sketchy place like that, which for me, recently I was able to go fly with the Juice Man. He invited me to tag along to do some drift car racing, and for me that was like a huge inspiration. I guess kind of going back to the whole inspiration thing too. having that subject driven flying. Not a whole ton of like freestyle elements to it, but just the knowledge that, we have permission to fly there, so you don't have that kind of in the back of your mind like worrying, because that is something that kind of puts me off on spots sometime, like, like am I going to get kicked out, so stuff like that.
In my experience of being kicked out, like every place I've ever been kicked out of, the people were like extremely cool. Like even the cops have been cool to me. That's kicked me out. Like I got kicked out of a bando, a local bando, not the one we went to, but another one. The cops are like extremely cool. I've been approached by cops numerous times when I was flying, and they've always been cool to me. Actually, when I was flying at the school yesterday, a cop came in and like just like gave me a head nod and like kept driving.
Yeah, we had something
But
similar happen when we went to the stilts back around New Year's. I
yeah,
remember he drove by, just waved, said hi, and he just continued on his way.
I've got kicked out of this office park spot before, and like that was like the worst. And like it was a security guard, and he was like, "You can't fly here," and I was like, "All right." He's like, "Are you recording?" And I was like, "No." And I had like a GoPro like on the front of my drone. Like, no, I'm not recording. He's like, "Okay, we can't record here. You can't fly here either." And I was like, he was probably like the biggest dick that I've dealt with at a spot. And he wasn't even really a dick. He was just like, seemed like crazily concerned that I might have been recording. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like it was just an office spot and it had like a big walkway that you could like fly around. That was like the only cool thing. And like, but I don't know. I'm kind of getting off of what we started. Well, I guess not. I'm still talking about spots.
So, how long would you say flying a spot before you actually start to feel that burnout?
That's kind of tricky, really, man. I mean, I feel like the stilts, I've probably been there 5 or 6 times, and I'm definitely not burnt out there. But then like Bando City too, I've been there about the same. I mean, I can be tricky kind of, man, because like it kind of depends like what I want to accomplish. Like there's a spot by me that I'm kind of burnt out on, and I've flown there maybe 10 times. But then sometimes I really want to go back because it has like a nice dive gap. So I mean, I would say 15 times maybe before I'm kind of like don't want to go there.
And then say like someplace like Bando City, where you go to fly there and you're pretty much guaranteed that you're going to break something there. So,
That
I guess would that be a quicker burnout for you, even though it's like an amazing spot to fly, but just knowing that stuff is going to break, does that kind of influence the burnout?
I mean, yeah, dude, I've had bad luck at Bando City though, man. Like I've never one time I think I've had like a good experience where I actually took like whatever 8 packs and got to fly them all. Like I've been there and flown 3 packs and everything broke. I've been there and flown 6 packs and my freaking camera settings were messed up. And then like I didn't even get to share. I mean, it was still fun, but yeah, I mean, if it's an epic spot, I would think it would all depend on the like what you got to do. Like if you know you're going to break stuff, that definitely plays into it. But like the school spot I flew at yesterday, man, I've flown there. I mean, I don't even know. I would say 50 times. But it's kind of got like it doesn't really have a dive gap. Like if it had a dive gap, it would probably be almost a perfect spot, but it doesn't. But I mean, yeah, I would say 15 times. 15 times before you kind of like start second guessing it.
So 15 times is kind of like your what you think is your limit there before the burnout really starts to kind of be present.
I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. It's like kind of hard to put a number. Like it all depends on like how far away it is, how like what the if you're going to break everything, if like if it's a good spot like the stilts where you can come up and chill and be in the shade and not have to worry about anything. Like like you can pull right up to it. You don't have to like hike. You don't have to like pack all your gear up. More than likely, you're not going to get kicked out. There's like so much to do. Like, I don't know, like the stilts, I probably won't get burnt out of, but like I don't go there that much because it's like 45 minutes, an hour away with traffic.
Yeah, yeah, it's hard to get down into the like downtown city area.
Like if you go there 2 or 3 times a year, you're probably not going to get burnt out. But like the Bando City, I'm not even really burnt out on. It's just like motivation to go fly there. Like, okay, am I ready to break everything and then fix it?
Exactly. Yep.
I mean that's one hard thing. Just like staying motivated because you know like you're going to break everything more than likely. Like you're probably going to smoke an ESC. You're probably going to break a motor. You might break an arm. You're
If you're
like,
running an Action 2, you're definitely going to break it.
yeah, it's going to rip out of your mount and you're going to have to find your action too. Like
I
that's
remember
all
the
stuff.
time. I remember the time I was there. Austin Spired had invited me out when he made a trip up, and he completely lost an Action 2 there. I don't know if that ever was found. I know as we left that day, it hadn't been found.
I had something similar and was so freaking lucky. I dove like at the same spot. I dove a roof gap. I hit like one of those hanging things that's just hanging like a light thing or whatever, and like totally crashed. And my Action 2 mount got ripped in half. And I go up there and I'm like, oh my God, where's my Action 2? And it was sitting on a windowsill, like up, like far away. Like somehow it flew over there. Like if it had went out the window, like I probably never would have found it. And it was just chilling. That's kind of a different burnout, I think, on spots like that. That's like motivation, man. Like, because you're going there knowing, like, all right, this is going to cost me at least $100. Am I
Yeah,
ready? Am I ready to spend $100 in a night of fixing stuff?
yeah. I think that's a big influence for me when it comes to burning out is just the frequency of breaking things, killing all the motors, breaking all your frames, action cams getting killed. That's the worst. Typically, you can, get them repaired as long as you have the service for it, but then you're down until you get that replacement in. So,
Yeah, like the motivation to like the fix stuff is my burnout issue. Probably the biggest is
yeah, I enjoy the building aspect, but I do get frustrated repairing. So if I'm building something new, it's like fun and exciting. But if I'm repairing, it's just like, man, I gotta tear this apart.
I always
And
I piece stuff together too long, man. Then my stuff doesn't fly good. Like the motors will sound all crappy. It'll sound like I have bad props on when I have brand new props on because it's just like beat up, armed ready to break. And I'm just like, all right, I can get 2 more sessions out of it.
all right, guys. So a couple days ago, I was a guest on Nappy's live stream that he does every once in a while, and someone on the live stream chat actually mentioned an episode idea for kind of like a FPV 101, like kind of a how-to for new people getting into FPV. And we thought that was a really good idea. So I think that would be a good idea for us to go into. So if you guys watching have any ideas for that, definitely let us know in the comments, and we're going to take note of everything and kind of pick the ones that we think would be great for the next episode. And beyond that, we might actually try and see if we can have a guest on for the next episode, someone that's a lot more knowledgeable than we are, to kind of help us out with this. So would you say that's kind of what we're thinking there, Nappy? Would you agree?
Yeah, that sounds like I think that'll be a cool episode idea, something a little bit different, something for the beginners. And I'm going to add that I am going to try to do my live stream more frequently now from the rest of till next spring. So hopefully it'll be every other like Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. I'm just throwing that in there. Uh, but yeah, I think the 101 episode will be cool, something different. Um, I don't know, something for us to talk about, switch it up a little bit. But yeah, I think we're good. Do you have anything else to add, Hypnos?
Yes, I do have one last thing I want to add here. So, our last episode, Humble Beginnings, which is where Nappy and I shared our kind of intro into FPV and shared our first flight footage. We did have an email that we had created specifically for that, and we are still looking for entries for other pilots' first flights that we can kind of showcase here in one of the episodes. So if you do have any of your footage from your first flights, feel free to send us, a short, like 20-30 second clip or so from it. And yeah, we would love to get that on another episode. So we will have that email address linked below. So that way, yeah, hopefully we can get some entries for that.
All right, sounds good. Get your entries in. I like to see other people flying. Maybe you can give me some inspiration, give Hypno some inspiration.
Yep, definitely could use it.
All right, well, I'm going to say, you guys, thanks for watching. I look forward to doing episode 3. And also, I just saw this while we're signing out here. Soon we're going to have our own YouTube channel for this podcast, and we're going to be doing a Vanny Style Pro giveaway. So I look forward to that happening. You guys keep an eye out for it, and definitely be sure to let everybody know about it.
Yeah, so you're going to have that Vanny Pro frame, and then I'm going to toss in a set of motors. So that's going to be an awesome grab for somebody. So I believe we plan on having 4 episodes done and out, 2 on each of our channels before we launch the official YouTube for the podcast. When we do have that released, we'll go ahead and let our subscribers know where they can find that channel and get subscribed to it. And then we'll drop all the previous episodes on that as well as soon as we launch the channel.
All right, sounds good. I forgot about the motors, but thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys soon.